This is Brindlewood Bay Part 1. I want to start by having all of us introduce ourselves. And so when I call on you, please say your name, your pronouns, and anything else you would like for people watching YouTube, the 10 people watching this video to know about you. I will start. My name is Jason. I am the creator and co-publisher of Brindlewood Bay, and I'm the founder of the Gauntlet Gaming Community and the co-host of Fear of a Black Dragon, a podcast about adventure modules. Let's go over to David.
Sorry, press the wrong button there. Yeah, hi, my name is David. I use he, him pronouns. And I have written for both Brindlewood Bay and The Between. I'm currently, as of the Kickstarter, I'm working on the solo mystery side of the Brindlewood Bay Community Cookbook. That's been a lot of fun to work on so far, and I'm glad so many people have been excited by it. So that's cool. I'm also an occasional co-host on the Gauntlet podcast, so you can also catch me there talking about various games that I've played.
Fabulous, thank you. Let's go to Daniel W, please.
Hi, my name is Daniel. I use he, him pronouns. We've been playing Brindlewood Bay and The Between and Gauntlet-based games in my personal group for a couple months now. Really enjoyed it. Very much looking forward to the cookbook. And I'm a software developer, and I've recently started toying around with trying to make stuff that helps the Gauntlet community, if anybody has seen any of those. So that's
you did the terrific podcast aggregating thing, right?
Yeah. If you haven't seen it, it's at podcast.gtmanfred.com, and it just takes Jason's YouTube feed and takes the audio out of it and just auto generates a podcast if you want to listen to it that way instead of on YouTube.
Looking at our beautiful faces. If you'd rather just listen to us, I suppose you have that option. Let's go to Liam.
Hi, I'm Liam McCookard. I use he, they pronouns. I am a game designer over on itch primarily, and have slowly been popping up here and there. Was on a +1 XP live stream recently, and now I'm here. Yeah.
So thank you so much. And Daniel Q.
Hey, I'm Daniel Krause, he, him. I've not played Brindlewood Bay yet, so I'm pretty excited. I started playing The Between last year and fell in love, and I'm currently working on a reskin called The Ghost of El Paso.
Indeed, which is to be published by us, by the way. Fabulous. Okay, so let's do CATS. CATS is an acronym that stands for concept, aim, tone, and subject matter. I like to do this in order to establish some expectations about what we're going to be doing. And so I'll start. The concept of, actually, you know what? This is all in the book itself. I should just be reading from the text, huh? That way there is an official way to run this part of it, even though I can probably do it from memory at this point. Okay. The concept. Brindlewood Bay is a role-playing game about a group of elderly women, members of the local Murder Mavens mystery book club, who frequently find themselves investigating real-life murder mysteries taking place in their community. They become increasingly aware that there are supernatural forces that connect the cases they're working on, and in particular, a cult dedicated to the dark, monstrous aspect of the goddess Persephone will come to vex them. The game is directly inspired by the television shows Murder, She Wrote and The Golden Girls, but also takes inspiration from the works of H.P. Lovecraft, cozy crime dramas, and American TV shows from the 70s, 80s, and 90s. The aim. Today we're going to begin by creating characters. After we create characters, we'll introduce them, and we'll populate a special section on the character sheet called A Cozy Little Place. After that, we'll take a short break. Maybe. I haven't decided on that, actually. When we come back, we'll have the beginning of session procedure, a special set of scenes called Cozy Vignettes, and then I'll present the mystery that your characters will be investigating. We'll do regular play, and then at the end of the session, we'll have a short debrief. In future sessions, I'll present new mysteries near the beginning of the session, and we'll dive right into regular play. Tone. The tone of this game bounces between cozy and creepy. Most of the time, it will be fairly lighthearted, but occasionally it will get dark and menacing. Some kitschy camp humor is acceptable here and very much in keeping with the game's inspirations. But above all, your characters should take everything they do very seriously, even if we are having a bit of a laugh from time to time. Subject matter. The subject matter can get a little dark and challenging. Obviously, murder is a thing. In order to help ensure that no one's fun is ruined by triggering subject matter, we're going to be using some safety tools, which I'll explain right now. The first is the open door policy. You are free to leave for any reason, and you don't have to explain yourself. The second is the X card, which in the context of this video call means if something happens in the game that you find to be objectionable for some reason, you can say X card or type it in the chat, and we will stop the play and figure out what we need to remove. And then lines and veils is our kind of main tool, though. Lines and veils is handled on the actual character sheet, and we'll discuss that off camera. So let's go ahead and do character creation. At this point, I'm going to pause the video, and so people watching the video will be back in just a moment. Okay, we're back. Let's go ahead and introduce the characters. So character introductions happen in two phases. The first is we go around once and everybody just shares the basics of your character, their name, their style, their cozy activity, and what murder maven move you have chosen. And then we go back again, and you're going to tell us a little bit about your character's backstory. In particular, we want to know about their deceased partner, because that's something they all share, is they have a partner who is now deceased, and now they've presumably moved to Brindlewood Bay, starting their new life. If you had any kids, I'd like to know about your kids. And then what was your profession or your whatever you did before Brindlewood Bay? Like what was your job before? And so we'll just start with the basics for now. Character name, style, cozy activity, and Maven move. I'm going to start with, in the order of the sheet, with Daniel W. and Rosemary. So Daniel, tell us about Rosemary.
I have Rosemary Claremont. Her style is hippy dippy, and her cozy activity is gardening. And then the Maven move is Michael Knight. She has a VW van.
Yeah, and I am playing Amelia, or Millie Ross, she, her pronouns. For the style, I've gone for her scarves and beads. I imagine that's sort of fairly simply dressed, but always with like a headscarf and lots of jewelry, mostly costume jewelry hanging off her. And for her Maven move, I have taken Thomas Magnum, which means I'm a secret personal friend of Robin Masterson. This allows me to use the Gold Crown Mysteries move more frequently in a session.
Yeah, for people who don't know much about the game's setting, I guess, Robin Masterson is the author of the series of books that the Murder Mavens are particularly fans of, the Gold Crown Mysteries, featuring super sleuth Amanda Delacourt. But Robin Masterson is like an enigmatic figure. No one's ever met her or seen her, but apparently Millie Ross has. So let's go over to Daniel and Kate Sutton.
Kate Sutton's style is Martha's Vineyard, so she wears lots of nautical themed clothes, whites, navy blue. Her cozy activity is charity events, and specifically those tied to the Daughters of the American Revolution. And her Maven move is Jonathan Hart.
Very good. Love it. Thank you so much. And let's go over to Liam and Opalu.
Oh, yeah. So I'm Opaloo. I usually am wearing at least one cardigan. I get cold really easily is the issue. Uh, I just sort of, I do enjoy collecting little pressed flowers. They're just very nice. It's very nice to preserve them in a little book. Uh, my maven move is Dale Cooper, which means I do occasionally have the terrible dreams. It's not really pleasant, but it's something.
Fantastic. Thank you. And now we're going to go back again. And now we're going to talk about these characters in terms of their deceased partner, their kids, if they had any kids, and what they did before they moved to Brindlewood Bay. And everybody else pay close attention, because after that's done, basically based off everything we know about the character up to that point, we will each say something that we think can be found in that Maven's home in Brindlewood Bay. And then that gets added to the section called A Cozy Little Place, and which is kind of like functionally your equipment list in the game. So Rosemary, do tell us those backstory elements, please.
Yes. Rosemary, in a previous life, or in her when working life, was I think she worked in an office, just kind of general office work, making reports, filing things, having meetings about the goals of whatever company she was working for at the time. And when she retired, she moved to Brindlewood Bay, to just because she liked the ocean. And then at some point she started having, her doctor told her that she was suffering from arthritis. That's why her fingers hurt all the time. And she had some glaucoma. And so she was introduced to some magical cure, THC. And that brought a whole new revelation to her. And so now she lives in her VW van near the community garden of Brindlewood Bay. Her husband tragically died before they could retire together in a car accident. And she had a son and a daughter, and they both live in California.
Fantastic. So you live in your van?
Yes.
Okay. Fantastic. And what did your husband do? What was his deal before he died? Finance. Okay, so you were all very corporate before you switched to this very bohemian lifestyle.
Well, you have after your partner dies, you have to decide to keep on living, and it's time to change things up, be less sad. And
fair enough.
This is what made her happy.
I love it. So now we each get to say what we think might be found in the van, and based off everything we know about Rosemary up to this point. So if somebody has an idea, go ahead and say.
I've got one. I think Rosemary would have a lot. I don't want to put a number on it, but a large quantity of tiki torches.
Similar theme to mine as well, actually. In that I reckon that you definitely have some very powerful UV lights in that van.
I'm gonna go in a slightly different direction and say just probably covered in dust under whatever is being used as a bed. There's some sort of plaque signifying like decades of service in the service of whatever company she worked for.
Yeah, I like that. I'm gonna go with, I think I'm gonna lean into the gardening angle and say that we'll keep it simple for now. You just have a roll of gardening implements. Okay, Millie, tell us about your backstory.
Certainly. So yes, Millie is an import from the UK. She came across it back in the 70s. She's had a long, if not outstanding, career on Broadway as an actress. Probably never really broken out. Has maybe done a little bit of TV, a little bit of character acting in films, but never really sort of became a star, as it were. She's very much always been a working actress. She's sort of won't admit to having retired, but is resting up in New England now. She was married to a man called Jerry Landauer, who was an actor himself. He played Detective Steele in the hit 70s police procedural Flint and Steel, and largely he needed a beard, she needed a green card. It was very much a marriage of convenience, but they had a fondness for each other, and because you get bored, they had a couple of children who they devoted their lives to. Well, as I say, devoted their lives to, they looked after with fondness and with love, but they were still very much both career focused at the time. She lost Jerry quite a few years ago now, but she sort of like I said, sort of moved up to Brindlewood Bay to rest.
Okay, what can be found in Millie's home? I'm going to suggest that you have Jerry's Briddy Award from when he was on Flint and Steel. So
I'm going to say you've got a stash of comfort food from the UK, and I do not know what that is, but Millie has like this stash of biscuits or something that is her comfort food.
Grotesque honeycomb based candies. That's all I know about British candies.
I'm gonna say that you have a recording of a performance you did. You're like a sort of like recording that's like, this was my peak of what I have recorded.
I love it. I'd like to say it was your, if you don't mind, I would like to say that it is it's like your audition for Sunset Boulevard. You didn't get it for some reason. So, for some reason, Glenn Close got it over you. It was your big moment.
Cool.
Disgusting.
I want like I think you have just too many like blank canvases just prepped to go. It just takes up more room than it needs to.
Awesome, thank you.
I love it. Oh yeah, painting is your cozy activity. That's interesting.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
What kind of stuff do you paint?
I think she paints quite a bit. I think she does paint landscapes and stuff. She'll often go off and paint around the bay, but she does some more kind of abstract stuff as well.
Okay.
I think I think she's kind of a fairly what's the word I'm looking for? Versatile artist, but I think she does do a lot of like landscape painting around the bay. I was also going to say, I think, which I neglected to mention when doing the backstory, I think her connection to Robin Masterson is that she was in the pilot of the Amanda Delacour TV series that never went anywhere. Yeah.
Oh, I really like that.
Yeah, it's really good. I like it. You can make that that's your video. I think that'd be really fun.
Yeah, no, it's cool.
Yeah. Okay, fantastic. Thank you. And now let's go over to Kate Sutton.
Kate Sutton was married to a Frank Sutton. He was in the Air Force. She was married to him while he was in the Air Force, and that's when they had their children. When he retired as a colonel, he went into the airline industry. I just made up an airline, Sprint Airlines. And she was able to get the position at Sprint Airlines as the art director for their brochures and marketing materials. Her son and daughter, Aaron and Lily, are the reasons. Her daughter Lily is the reason why she is at Brindlewood Bay, because there's a nearby college or university that Lily went to, and so they liked the area so much that, and Lily was going to stay here. So they bought a place in Brindlewood Bay, but also in Florida. So they have they're snowbirds. They're up here in the summer and down there in the winter. But then both kids moved to California, and Larry passed away in Florida. And so now she's found that inadvertently found that she is a daughter of the American Revolution. So one of her ancestors was an officer during the Revolutionary War. And so that is the charity that she is really into right now. And they do things like fundraisers for different projects and clean up Brindlewood Bay drives and things like that.
I love
Is that
it.
everything? Yep.
A fun fact about the setting is that there's a nearby town called Faversham, and Faversham never recognized the events of the American Revolution. That's very fun. Maybe we'll do that one. That would be fun. Okay, fabulous. Thank you so much. Oh, say again what your husband did. What was his deal?
He was a retired Air Force
Okay.
colonel, and then worked for the airline industry, and then
That's right.
passed away in Florida.
Thank you. I have an idea for your cozy little place based off the fact that you host charity fundraiser events. I'm going to say that you have a little black book.
I would like to say that you have a musket.
Damn, I was gonna say that. Instead, I think that I'm gonna say that you have a expired pilot's license.
Again, in a similar vein, I think I'm going to say you have like I'm forgetting the word for it, but like a kind of platinum club card for your airline kind of thing.
Or like what's it called? Like Admiral's Club, or what is it? It's something like
Pilots
that, right?
Sky
Club-
Miles
Pilot-
Club or whatever.
Yeah.
Pilots Club, I think, is
Yeah.
one of
Yeah.
them.
It was like fancy things. I love it. Okay, fantastic. Let's go over to Opal Lou.
Yeah, so back in my day, I worked at a natural history museum. I never quite got up to the curator level, didn't exactly have the education for that, but I outlasted more than a few of them. And I don't know, maybe something about the AC in there, the chill just sort of seeped into my bones, and that's why I'm always wearing these sweaters. But yeah, my spouse, my wife, though she wasn't always my wife, we got married, and then towards the end of her life, she transitioned. So my wife, Mary Lou, was an archaeologist, and we sort of worked well together. She would explore ruins, and then I would talk about her findings at length to a group of bored school children. We never did have any children, but we never quite wanted any. We were happy with our work and each other.
Hmm.
I retired to Brindlewood Bay after she passed. I heard good things. I heard weird rumors about the murder rates, but that seemed like some sort of joke. I mean, it can't be that high. That's got to be it. I feel like they added an extra 0 by accident. But yeah, I saw it on a postcard, and sometimes it just sweeps you off your feet.
I'm going to say you have a. I'm going to say you have a very. You have a. So you said you press flowers, but you did used to also work in a natural history museum. I think in the middle of your pressings, you also have a moth that has never been identified by science.
I think you have some fossilized teeth. Not of Velociraptor or anything like that, but just they were in one of the sites and no one was interested in taking them, but they're still pretty cool.
I feel like my original thought is it's going to be too close to that. So I'm going to instead go with, I think that you have a set of keys to the Brindlewood Bay Town Archives.
That's pretty good. And Daniel's having some internet trouble, so we'll get Daniel's contribution in a bit once that gets sorted out. All right. Let's just pause while we wait on Daniel. Okay, so Daniel's back. So we're adding the New England Journal of Archaeology to Opal Lou's cozy little place. Fantastic. Okay, so with all that done, that means we are, let's see what's next in our little process here. Oh, now's our break. All right, so we're gonna take our break. When we get back from the break, we'll be doing beginning of session stuff. And one of the first things we do is what's called cozy vignettes. Now, cozy vignettes, if you imagine Brindlewood Bay as like a TV show, cozy vignettes are the part of the TV show where the credits are rolling in the beginning, and we see Jessica Fletcher on a bike waving in the middle distance to someone, right? Like we see your character enjoying her life in the town of Brindlewood Bay. You can play on your cozy activities, but it's just a little short scene about you. There's no dialogue or anything, just in what they're kind of doing, enjoying their life. So be thinking about that. We'll take a 5-minute break and come back and do that. So before we begin cozy vignettes, Opal Lou, you find yourself standing in a large cavernous room. It is very dark. It would be pitch black, in fact, if not for the fact that there is a single large shaft of light illuminating the center of the chamber. And within the shaft of light, there is a throne. And sitting on this throne is a man who you can't quite see very well because of the distance that you're at. But this man sitting on the throne extends his hand and beckons you closer. Do you go closer?
Yeah. Opal just sort of like the top half of her body is leaning backwards even as her feet pull her forwards, which is not good for her back, but it's curiosity and common sense mixed poorly.
As you get closer, you see that the man is wearing what appears to be robes of black and red silk, and his hands that beckon you closer are quite pale. And he's wearing a crown atop his head, a crown that appears to be made of willow branch or something like that, and is drenched in what appears to be fresh red viscera. You can't make out his face because the crown is actually kind of like a face cage. So the willow like comes up and twists around the eyes and the nose and everything, and then it kind of stretches up to be the crown, right? And this man takes something from the folds of his robes. It is a pomegranate. And he takes a knife in his other hand and he slices the pomegranate in half, cutting his own hand as well, mingling pomegranate juice with blood. And he splits the pomegranate apart into two halves and he offers you one half. Do you take it?
Reaches out, grabs it, doesn't eat it, picks it up nervously. Some juices probably drip onto the cardigan.
And then you wake up and you find yourself in your home, in bed.
Oh, jeez. Oh, dearie me.
And on your nightstand, there is, on a little dish, half a pomegranate sitting there. Did you have pomegranate before you went to sleep?
I doubt it. My memory's not the best, but I doubt it.
You can add the pomegranate half to your cozy little place, but also take a condition as well called the pomegranate.
That's all right.
And now we'll do cozy vignettes. Credits are rolling. You know, what have you. Whoever wants to narrate their little scene of their maven enjoying their life in Brindlewood Bay. Whoever wants to start, go ahead.
I can start. Opal sort of sees this pomegranate, looks at it nervously, gets out on the other side of the bed, and then goes downstairs and starts getting, and like opens her mailbox, see that the see that some flowers have been dropped off by that kind and couple who was growing some that she complimented it a couple houses down, takes him out and starts going inside to start to press him. Just, calm down, put some tea on.
Fantastic, thank you.
Rosemary is sitting on the edge of so the door slides open to the van and she's sitting on the edge of it, and you can see knitted and crocheted pillows sitting on kind of the back bench of the van, and she has one of those like tents that they have at like farmers markets. She's at a farmers market and she stands up, and then there's a person that's collecting vegetables that she has grown, and then they exchange money, and then they walk off with their farmers market vegetables. She goes back and sits down.
Thank you.
It's the it looks like a 4th of July celebration. There's lots of people on the streets. Kate is dressed in 18th century garb, like a dress and a bonnet, and she's handing out flyers. A cannon goes by, and when the cannon explodes, when the cannon fires, it makes a lot of smoke. When the smoke clears, it shifts to Kate with a tricorn, and she's commandeered somebody's jacket and saber, and she's like leading some troops in a skirmish as audience watches. The other daughters of the American Revolutions are their hands are crossed and they're scowling at her, and she just kind of does and then continues fighting.
Good.
Yeah, and I think we see Millie out walking on like the Brindlewood bluffs out above the sea. She's kind of like wearing like long flowy black blouse and black leggings, but with like a pair of sensible hiking boots over them. She's got her hair up in a scarf, big tiger's eye sunglasses, very kind of Grace Kelly look. As she's sort of carrying a huge canvas on her back and her easel strapped on. It's probably quite blustery. She's sort of struggling against the wind a bit, but we see her kind of getting it set up and starting to paint.
I love it. Thank you all. And now our mystery. Today's mystery is called Dad Overboard. It is the starter mystery for Brindlewood Bay. And if you want to follow along, there's a tab that says mysteries there. You can click on that. You'll notice on the left is the Dark Conspiracy Tracker, and you already have one void clue. So congratulations. Let's do Dad Overboard. Presenting the mystery. So this mystery starts at the top floor of the Candlelight Booksellers during the weekly meeting of the Murder Mavens Mystery Book Club. Let's paint the scene a little bit, everyone. As the camera pans around the loft where you hold your Murder Mavens meetings, it's a loft at the top of the bookstore. What do we see that shows how you have personalized the space?
I think that Opal is big on like recording things, keeping records. So there's probably perhaps slightly disturbing number of pictures of every outing the Mavens have had together. Just and in the corner there's probably a well-used selfie stick.
Very good. Hopefully no crime scene photos, but who knows? Because by the time we start, you have solved some murders together. So yeah.
In that case, who can say?
I'm going to say we used to have a film series project that we did, and we didn't keep it up, but we still have a lot of where we try to make the loft look kind of like a movie theater. So the curtains are really heavy and burgundy over the windows. They're really these really thick curtains with maybe some gold braid tiebacks, but it's just it gives it kind of a movie theater kind of vibe.
I love it.
I think there are a couple of like posters from book launches for various releases in the Amanda Delacourt series, and I think a couple of them are actually signed by Robin Masterson.
Nice.
I think there's, obviously a number of comfy chairs, but then just some pillows for like sitting on the floor for those of us that prefer that.
Very good. So just as your Murder Mavens meeting is ending, you all hear some very heavy footsteps on the stairs coming up to this loft area, and heavy footsteps accompanied by occasional pauses and heavy, exasperated sighs. And eventually this person manages to drag themselves to the top of the stairs where you're at, and you see that it is Sheriff Wyman Dalrymple, Sheriff of Brindlewood County Sheriff's Department. He explains to you that last night, a wealthy financier, Albert Krause from Boston, was found floating in the bay. Mr. Krause's family, they are currently vacationing in Brindlewood Bay, and their yacht, the Regal Lady, is parked about a half mile off the coast. It's anchored. The surviving Krauses are wife Allison, eldest daughter Sarah, son David, and youngest daughter Emily. They all claim, after an initial investigation, they all claim that husband/father Albert must have gotten drunk that night and fallen overboard. Sheriff Dalrymple suspects foul play, but he has not been able to turn anything up that would suggest foul play. The body is currently being held in a cold storage at the fish market until it can be shipped back to Boston for the funeral. The reason why it's being held in a fish market, there's two reasons. One, Brindlewood Bay inexplicably does not have a morgue, despite the fact that it has the highest murder rate per capita in the country. And two, the Krauses have a friend who works at the fish market, an Etienne Beauregard, friend of the family, who has agreed to hold the body until it can be shipped back to Boston. Now, Sheriff Dalrymple explains to you, he just needs a little help finding something that suggests there's foul play here. Just enough for him to justify keeping the body in Brindlewood Bay to do a deeper, more thorough investigation. He says, I do not need you to solve the mystery. That's what my job is. That's the job of my deputies. This is not the kind of thing that requires your theorizing, ladies. But since you've had some luck in the past, if you could look into it and just find one little piece of evidence that would justify keeping the body here, I would be most grateful. Sheriff Dalrymple is a very jowly, paunchy individual. He's wearing his years pretty hard, if I'm being honest. He's also very bad at his job, as evidenced by the fact that you all have had to help him figure out who's murdered some people in the past here in town in recent months. And I think I'm going to ask a little establishing question of one of you. I'm going to ask it of Kate. Kate Sutton, you actually met one of the Krause children, either Sarah, David, or Emily several years ago. What were the circumstances around that meeting?
How old is the oldest daughter, Sarah?
Oldest daughter's probably like in her mid-30s.
Okay. So my daughter Lily is the same age, and when my daughter went to college in this area and hung out in Brindlewood Bay, she became friends with Lily, and maybe even went on some trips with a yacht to Boston and back and forth became pretty close friends with Lily, maybe in her early 20s, maybe.
Okay, good. So you actually have a connection to the family then, which is interesting. So Sheriff Dalrymple says, believe you me, no one is more frustrated about having to ask for help from a bunch of old busybodies like you than I am. But nevertheless, I ask you, as citizens of Brindlewood Bay, as women who share with me a desire for this town to be a peaceful, happy, murder-free place, I would love your help with this matter, ladies. Can I count on it?
Kate shakes her head and says, I don't think so. This didn't happen in Brindlewood Bay. Is that right, Sheriff? Did it happen out in the harbor? It seems a bit out of your jurisdiction.
Well, we don't know, do we? Maybe it happened in town and they're just pretending like you fell overboard. In any case, the body was found within 600 feet of the shoreline, therefore putting it within my jurisdiction. Or he says, within our jurisdiction. I mean, my jurisdiction. Millie Ross, can I count on you here?
Of course, Sheriff, and of course we will absolutely try our best not to outshine your sterling force, so that will.
I do not need you to
Herculean
solve the
task.
mystery as mentioned. Just one clue. That's all I need, Millie. One clue.
Oh, believe me, one clue is all I need as well.
Fabulous. I feel like 2 out of 4 is a quorum, ladies. Thank you so much. And he begins to he grabs a donut or something on the way out, a little, maybe has some coffee and scones there or something, and he takes something, and it's like 7:00 at night. The fish market is a sort of tourist attraction more than, I mean, it's a fish market also, but it's more of a tourist attraction. And so if you wanted to go look at the body, you could probably go do that. He explains to you that if you want to go out to the yacht and meet with the family members, Deputy Anderson would be happy to take you out on on one of the police craft out to the yacht as well, if you want to do that. But otherwise, he says, I don't expect you ladies to stay up too late dealing with this. I know that women of your advanced age frequently have to be in bed fairly early. So you can wait until the morning if you want. That's perfectly fine by us. I don't think they're going to be able to get the body that fast. Good night, ladies. And he trundles down the stairs, leaving you to it. And so,
Not the cleverest fellow, is he?
No, and Millie, I wish you'd said no, and then we just tie this up behind his back.
Well, I figure if this took place far enough out, we might even be in international waters, and then, well, there's no limit to what we can get up to.
according to Faversham, they are international waters. So, so Rosemary, what's your first move?
Rosemary will want to go look at the body.
Okay, sounds good. Let's just go around the table. Opal, Lou, how would you begin the investigation? You can all split up if you wish, or go with each other. It's up to
you. Opal Lou's general tendency is to trail around after the largest chunk of people. She's a bit nervous in general, but in these situations especially.
Well, so Kate, you know a member of the family that could be helpful, but what's your approach going to be?
I'm definitely gonna call Sarah tonight, but I would like to in the morning. I'd like to go look at the wherever they like drug up the body on the beach to look for evidence, and there's a lot of there's a lot of people who like beachcombers who pick up like sea glass and things like that. So that's what I'm planning on doing in the morning. But tonight I'm gonna call Sarah.
Millie?
I think Millie's keen to get out onto the yacht and see the scene of the crime, as it were.
I mean, maybe you and Kate could just go to the yacht. I mean, it seems fairly reasonable. Well, so Opal, Lou, you've got some choices here, or you can go do something else entirely.
I think Opal Lou will go with Rosemary if Millie and Kate are going to the yacht.
If we're going to the yacht, then I'm not going to call Sarah. I'm going to text Sarah and let her know that we're coming to visit. I'll be there in so many minutes.
Okay, sounds good. So do you stay in regular contact?
I'm gonna say that my daughter does.
Okay, all right.
Lily and they probably they're friends on Instagram or something.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah. Remind me what their relationship was again.
Friends in college,
Got it,
and
okay.
traveled some together.
Good. You get an automated response, an automated text response that says, "Sorry if I don't reply right away, currently grieving my dead father."
Was it like a bounce back message? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, okay. I'm gonna respond to it like I don't know. It's a bounce back message, and I'm gonna say, "Don't you worry, we're gonna bring a casserole."
Sounds good. Sounds good. Let's fast forward a little bit to the fish market. Now, the fish market, Rosemary and Opaloo, it's one of those places that's sort of like Pike Place in Seattle. It's a tourist fish market. So when you go there, there's tourists milling around. The fishmongers are like performing with the fish, like throwing fish to each other and doing little numbers with them or whatever, right? And you don't necessarily have permission to go look at the body because the body is being held by this Etienne Beauregard fellow, and not in any official capacity. And who knows if he has something to hide either, right? So you may have to convince your way into seeing the body, or you can sneak in, or you can take two different approaches since there are two of you. But I'm curious, Rosemary, what is your approach?
Rosemary definitely doesn't respect the police, so she'll try to sneak around them.
Sounds good. Opaloo, are you going to go with a more direct approach or what?
Are there police here, or is it just Beauregard?
Well, there's like a bike cop there.
Okay.
Yeah, but he's just there to like make sure the tourists don't, like cause any trouble.
I think Opal will go talk to this Beauregard because A, that could be a distraction for Rosemary, and B, good to get his side of things.
I love it. So you'll see Etienne Beauregard. Etienne Beauregard, he's a local, so you know him, right? He's from here, or there's a good chance you know him anyway. If you don't know him personally, you probably at least know him by reputation. He does this like sort of French man of the sea sort of performance. And so when you get to the fish market, you actually see him standing out there with a half circle of tourists from California or someplace, probably, families, like watching him perform. And he's got a great big fish in his arms, and he's diving in and out with it, singing his little song, les poissons, hi hi hi, ha ha ha. And he like
true Frenchman.
Indeed, he thrusts the fish into like the face of some young father who looks very like sunburned and tired, and he's like, "Monsieur, give le poisson a kiss, give le poisson a kiss," and like this guy's just rolling his eyes or whatever. Anyway, this whole performance is going on. What are you doing, Opaloo?
Opaloo, who has put on another cardigan now that we're going out of the cozy bookshop and down to the sea breeze, is sort of like waddling around the edge of the crowd trying to get closer to Mr. Beauregard without shoving through a bunch of tourists.
Yeah, you can do that. You can work your way right up to the front. Then what?
Mr. Beauregard, hi, it's Opaloo.
He says, "One moment, madame. I have to finish with these customers over here." And he dives in with the fish to another customer. And yeah, he's just sort of doing his thing. He could be here for a while. What might you do to hurry him up a little bit?
Can I just buy that fish?
Yeah, you could. Yeah, that's pretty good. I like it.
Mr. Beauregard, could I just purchase that fish?
He's like, and he
Catch the-
says, we have a customer sold, and he goes over to you, and I think he probably does know you, at least by, he might recognize you because
Yeah, I forgot to mention this, but I have a pet cockatoo named Navy, so I do buy little fishies.
Okay, very good. What is Opal Lou's surname?
Oh, Lou is the surname.
Oh, Lou is the surname. Oh, I thought that was like a full
Yeah.
so Opal, we'll say then. I'll stop calling you Opal Lou. He says he once the other people are gone, he's like, Ms. Lou, this is a bigger fish than you normally buy.
Yes, Mr. Beauregard. I just really needed to speak.
Do you
with
have a really, really big bird now back home? Something
No, not yet, but I'm sure I can think of something.
And he takes you behind his little counter and he's wrapping up the fish with some paper.
Mr. Beauregard, I heard that you recently suffered the loss of a friend of yours.
Well, that's pretty good. Go ahead and do the meddling move. So let's read the move since it's the first time we're doing it. When you search for a clue, conduct research, or otherwise gather information, describe how you're doing so and roll with an appropriate ability. I think you're probably using presence here. So go ahead and roll.
Seems fair. How is my presence? Not incredible. I would say with a flat 0. But nothing a decent roll can't somewhat solve. That's an 8.
Okay. We'll come back to that. Rosemary, you're in the back of, if you come around to the back, they have like 2 doors that are kind of always open as they're like bringing fish in and out, especially at night, they'll kind of like be, putting things back into cold storage. You see somebody pushing a trolley full of prawns, back into the freezer area. That's almost certainly where you need to be.
Sure.
Unless you go just at a glance, no one's really paying attention to you. They might just think you're a tourist who's gotten lost or whatever. What do you do?
I try to look nonchalant, and when they're like, maybe someone's going back out to the boat, getting ready to go out to catch fish in the morning, and then someone else has brought something inside, I take my opportunity to just jaunt into the freezer.
Nice. Let's have the night move. So the night move says, when you do something risky or face something you fear, in this case, it's risky. It's something risky. Say what you're afraid will happen if you fail.
I think that they'll just kind of shoo me out and usher me back to where the rest of the tourists are.
And now I have to say how it's worse than that.
Mhm.
They will usher you out into the hands of someone who means you harm.
Oh no. All right.
So roll with composure, I think, here.
That is an 8.
Fantastic. We'll come back to that as well. Kate and Millie, you are at the pier. Deputy Anderson is a big, beefy guy, blonde crew cut. He's normally a bike cop as well. And so he's got little khaki shorts and his little khaki sheriff's department, shirt. But he fills it out quite a lot. So like he's sort of bulging out of it, right? And he sees the 2 of you and says, the sheriff said I'm supposed to take you out to that yacht if you want to go. Is that what you're here for?
I thought so my motive here is to win Deputy Anderson on the team Murder Maven. So I'm going to say, Deputy Anderson, I thought you were the sheriff.
He's like, no, ma'am, I am definitely not. I just, I mostly just keep an eye on on tourists and things. You know, the tourists can be, they'll wander right into the ocean if you don't keep an eye on them.
I always thought Dalrymple was the deputy and you were the sheriff. I don't know how I got those confused. It's just I guess it's your demeanor.
He's like, yes. Well, the boat's ready here, and I'm going to take you out if you want me to take you out there.
Oh, definitely. That we're really appreciative.
Of course, dear. I am a little frail. I might need some help getting into the boat, if you don't mind.
He's like, oh, of course. And you should probably put on what are those things? You know, the
Life
the little floaties,
life jackets.
the little floaties, the life jackets. Right, you need to put that on.
I brought my own.
Oh, good. That's great. That's great. He says, he kind of gets in the little boat, kind of helps you down in there, and he's like looking at the controls, kind of quizzically, like,
Millie will lean on him far more than is strictly necessary when getting into the boat.
Okay, very good, very good. Is there something you're trying to accomplish in particular by doing that?
No.
Okay. And yeah, after he takes him a minute to figure out how to operate the boat, but once he gets it sorted out, he is ready to get going and take you out there to the yacht. You get a message back, Kate, from Sarah that says, "You're coming here now?"
I think I probably have a casserole in an aluminum foil, and it's probably, I don't know, like broccoli, chicken, rice, cheese casserole, something that we could pull together really quickly. And it's covered in aluminum foil. And I just text back. I said it on the boat. I text back, "Oh yes, we'll be there in 2 minutes."
I love it. Let's go back to the fish market. Let's paint the scene about the fish market. So, the fish market. Everybody, as the camera sort of pans around the fish market, we see the scene that sort of surrounds Opal at this point. What here reminds you of why you either love the fish market or why you hate coming down to the fish market? What is it about this place?
I hate that they have this net, like a sea net, up in the rafters, and they have sea creatures in them, but they're the wrong colors. Like they have like crabs that are like the wrong, like yellow looking weird crabs, and the fish that are purple. I just hate that they're not authentic.
It is also terribly loud with between the tourists and the Beauregards of the market hawking their fish. It's like everyone realized they're all selling fish, so there's not much variety, so they have to be as loud and eye-catching as possible, and it just sort of overwhelms me a bit. I'm used to museums people are quiet in. I like that better.
I think Rosemary hates the smell. The fish smell is just so pungent that this is where the majority of the tour, in the evening time, they like to do touristy things down here where they have the lights and the Beauregards and all those things. But she can't set up to sell her garden because you can't smell any of the ripe fruits and vegetables that she has grown because the fish smell is so potent.
I think for Millie, it's kind of a mix of love and hate. In that, again, I think the smell and the activity of this fish market reminds her of the little seaside town that she grew up in. And I think both Brindlewood Bay to an extent in general, but specifically the fish market, it's got that kind of that very nostalgic feel to her.
So Opal, Etienne says, yes. How did you know about that? How did you know about Albert?
Oh, well, one of my fellow Mavens in my book club, her daughter is friends with Albert's daughter. So
Oh, yeah. Well, it's terrible. It's shocking. They say he got drunk and just fell overboard. And well, I hope it wasn't painful.
yeah, it's uh, I Opal looks like she's about to. Opal is on the verge of recounting a terrible dream she had where she drowned painfully and then thinks the better of it and says,
Probably so.
Yes, have you got been in touch with the family? They're still nearby, aren't they?
He's like, yeah, well, I've been friends with the Krauses for a long time. They actually years ago they set me up in this place with a little bit of financial assistance. I was happy for it, you know. He says, I tell you, that family has well, I wouldn't say that they have a lot of love between them, that's for sure.
What do you mean by that?
Well, I'm not really sure how much I should say, but he says, let's just say that Allison and Albert, they fell out of love quite a number of years ago. It has to do with the fact that Allison, oh gosh, listen to me, just like telling you everything I know about them. It's Allison was having an affair with a young man of the sea, a sailor.
It becomes very clear from Opal's expression that she's looking dead at Beauregard.
Yeah.
Like,
he kind of gives you a little smile, almost confirming your suspicion. And he says, anyway, needless to say, it's the kind of thing that never sat well with Albert.
Yeah, it's always always a tragedy to see a relationship carry on even after its heart is long gone.
Well, and then
Not
he's actually like in the middle of like kind of like doing some work with a knife, like cutting a fish open while he's having this conversation with you. And he slices his hand open, just like the throned figure in the or the crowned figure did in your dream. And he's like, ah, and there's like blood dripping down onto the fish.
Oh dear, oh dear. Let me just starts looking around. I'm sure I've got some sort of rooting through her bag for something to help.
I am curious, how do you feel about the fact that this mirrors what happened in your dream?
Despite the constant chill she feels, sweating bullets. Remembering the face cage covered in viscera.
I'm going to make you roll the night move to keep your nerve here. What are you afraid is going to happen if you lose your nerve right now?
I'm afraid that if I lose my nerve right now, I'm going to just have a panic attack. Because honestly, like, even with the weird mirroring, she doesn't feel much of a threat from Beauregard at this point in time. But
I have to say how it's worse than that. It's worse than that. The panic will come from Etienne. It's something he will do. But go ahead and roll composure for now. And I'm going to make you roll at disadvantage because of the pomegranate condition. So you'll roll 3 dice and take the 2 lowest.
Well, that's 4.
We'll come back to that in a moment. Rosemary, you get the mid result, right? Describe how you sneak into the freezer.
So like I was saying, someone was going one direction and there was just this slight opening where nobody was really kind of between her and the freezer, and then she just went for it. And she gets to the freezer and she goes to yank the door open and it's stuck. It takes her a couple yanks to get in. But eventually, after like the third, she just puts her whole body into it, almost flings herself across the room, and then it opens and she ducks inside.
I love it. We'll come back to this. Well, I owe you a complication, and we'll figure out what that is in a moment. But I am curious. I will just tell you what you see. Inside, you do see shelves along the walls, the back walls, side walls, with various, fish, crabs, lobsters, like, shellfish, different things like that, all packed in ice. And between a shelf of cod and haddock, on one of the shelves is a tarp, a body-shaped tarp slid into it. That is almost certainly Albert Krause. What do you do?
So besides knowing that she was going to be going into a freezer, probably she did not bring a jacket. Or a heavier jacket. She was wearing whatever she was wearing for like the night. And then sort of just kind of shivering, goes over and like shivering like she's afraid almost. She just unzips the bag.
I like that as your condition, actually. We'll give you the condition, or the complication. We'll give you the condition chilled to the bone.
Nice.
We'll come back to this scene in a bit.
Just like me.
Yeah. Millie and Kate. The little boat pulls up to the rear of the Regal Lady yacht. As you approach, the moon is very like big in the sky tonight, so the yacht is like sort of silhouetted by the moon, right? You get closer and there's like a little back, like kind of, sort of like little platform on the back of the yacht so that the boat can pull up to it. And the deputy Anderson's helping you both get out. Are you still being very touchy feely with him, Millie?
Yeah, definitely.
And he's like, well, here we are now, ladies. And he sort of pushes you both away from him and onto the boat. And the butler of the family, who the sheriff would have told you about, his name is Andrew. He comes down to meet you, and he says, I didn't realize we would be getting another visit from the sheriff's department today. Hello, ladies. How can I help you?
I hand him the casserole. Is the deputy going to leave us here?
Well, he's just going to stay at the boat.
Okay. I say thank you, Sheriff, to him, and and then I give the butler Andrew the casserole, and then I kind of push by and say, I'm just here to see Sarah.
He says, Madam, what am I supposed to do with this dish?
Well, when people are grieving, they don't need to take time to think about what they're going to have for lunch. And so I've alleviated the family with that concern. So they have this casserole, and so they can focus on the healing and the grieving.
Adam, as he's looking underneath the tin foil, he says, the Krause family, all of them are all quite lactose intolerant. And this dish looks like a celebration of dairy, we'll say.
No, it's all soy. That's a soy cheese.
Andrew the butler.
Yeah, I know Sarah quite well.
Andrew the butler, he's a very sort of tall, gray hair, very fastidious, and he says, I shall go and let Miss Krause know that you are here to see her, and I shall take this down to the kitchen. And he glides off, leaving you all on the sort of top deck of the ship. Let's paint the scene, everyone. As our mavens step aboard the yacht, what do we see that indicates these people, the Krauses, have more money than they know what to do with?
I think. Oh, no, go for it.
Yeah. Okay. There's a I want like from like the front of the yacht, like the upper portion where like the captain is hanging from it, is a ginormous chandelier. For some reason, it's outside.
I think in a grand display of having more money than sense, one of like the external decks is an infinity pool, which seems like a very, very bad idea.
On the back deck, there's this rig on either side of it, and it has these purple with leopard print Sea-Doos that you can launch them off the back. But they're in like this compartment, but you could like lower it and then launch off the back with two Sea-Doos.
Leopard print Sea-Doos are great.
For absolutely no reason, there's probably like just like a Van Gogh original in the middle of the deck. Like not just like freestanding on an easel, their big frame and label on it, definitely going to be ruined by ocean spray. But
I love it.
It's just there.
So Andrew goes down below deck to go fetch Sarah Krause, Kate, and Millie. You're left there, and you hear from the front of the boat a voice, a young man's voice calling out, Andrew, are you going to bring me my lemon, or do I have to squeeze it from my hat? What do you all do? You kind of have the run of the place until someone comes to fetch you.
What do you think, Millie? Do you want to case the joint, as they used to say in Flint and Steel, or would you like me to, and then I can go and try to talk to the family, or how would you like to do this?
Yes, I'll go and have a look around. Maybe I'll start with this young gentleman, and she'll turn to where the voice came from. Would hardly do to have him.
Yeah.
Would hardly do to have anyone drop dead of scurvy while we're here.
Well, so Kate, Millie can go do that. I don't think that needs two people necessarily. What do you do?
I'm going to look around all the deck areas where if he did hit his head, where he could have fallen off.
Okay, yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, I like that. Let's get some. Let's get that meddling move. Kate, go ahead and roll with reason, please.
I use the Discord, the trophy roller, and I got a 6 and a 3 plus 1, so I've got 10. Is that right?
Yeah, nice. Yeah, I'll give you a clue here. You're poking around, looking for where what might have happened in terms of like, if Albert like fell over or something like that. And I will tell you that you find a very, very expensive looking diamond earring, quite a large diamond, laying on the deck, seemingly lost or discarded. noted that clue for you. Millie, at the front of the ship, the forecastle, that's where the infinity pool is. And next to the infinity pool, there is a jacuzzi. And you do see a young man. It's nighttime. He's wearing sunglasses and he's submerged in the water up to his nose. And what do you do?
Get the button eventually. Yes, I think Millie will walk up and say, "Are you the young man who was in search of a lemon, dear?"
He like rises up. He says, "Yes. Do you have a lemon?"
Not on me at the moment, but I'm sure I can find one around here somewhere.
There's actually a bar like right next to,
Cool.
right next to the jacuzzi.
What are you drinking?
He's like, well, just a vodka tonic, but I like a little spritz of lemon. Who are you exactly?
Millie Ross, darling, Millie Ross.
Millie
And you
Ross.
would be...
I don't know you. Why are you here?
I'm visiting the yacht with a dear friend.
A friend. No shortage of visitors today, that's for sure.
No. Well, you've. I did hear the sad news about your poor father, and she'll sort of start mixing. She'll start making a drink, and she'll make a gin and tonic for herself while she's there.
Yeah, and he rises up out of the water a little bit. He says, "My father, right? My father. Yeah, they found him earlier today, dead, apparently. Very tragic. As you might imagine, we're all just completely soaked in grief right now."
Yes, I can. You do certainly seem very damp. And she'll hand him his drink.
He takes the drink and he says, "I like you."
Thank you. I've been told I'm a very likable person.
As a general matter, I don't speak openly to the elderly. And so, but you, there's something about you that feels ageless.
Well, I am an actress, dear, so I think we all possess a certain amount of that classic charm. And she'll take a very. I think she's not wearing her sunglasses, but she definitely has them sort of up on her forehead. She'll affect a very sort of Laurent Bacall pose against the railing of the ship.
Yeah. Make the meddling move with reason here, presence rather, just to see if he sort of opens up to you a bit.
That is a 9.
Fantastic. We'll come back to that. Well, Opal, you got a miss. Etienne is holding a cloth to his wounded hand, and he says, "Ms. Liu, if you wouldn't mind just waiting here a moment." And he steps away from the counter. And you actually start to realize that the market has quite suddenly emptied out. There are no tourists. You don't see any other fishmongers. It's just you. But it's not just you. There's someone else across the way, obscured by shadows.
Hello?
They speak with a voice modulator that makes it impossible for you to tell anything about who they are. They say, "We recommend you stop looking into this matter."
How far away is this?
Yeah, like maybe 30 or 40 paces.
30 or 40 paces. And it sounds like some sort of digital voice modulator.
Yeah, it's kind of like a weird voice thing. Yeah.
Opal sort of like panics and has a plan and like eventually like in a second that feels like an age comes up with a plan and looks directly at this shadowy voice modulated figure that has somehow cleared out the market with psychic powers or whatever dead on and says in the most sweet voice he can muster, "What matter?"
You see the glint of gunmetal as they train a weapon on you. I think you know what we're talking about. What do you do?
If only I had the musket, then I could return fire. Do I have anything I think could provide a little bit of I think that Opal's gonna stick to her guns. Just sort of like lower her glasses as if she's like struggling to make out the figure. Just stick with the air of complete ignorance, like can't even see the gun. Are you all right? Do you need a lozenge? You sound a little unwell.
Let's do the night move. What are you afraid is going to happen if you fail right now?
I'm gonna get shot.
It's worse than that. You're going to get shot and be dead. Let's roll with composure, please. I still want you at disadvantage.
Oh, well, that's all right. So how do these crown things work?
What'd you get?
Because I'm not particularly interested in dying so soon.
What'd you get?
A 5.
We'll come back. Rosemary, you have access to the body. What are you doing right
now? What's he wearing? Is he just like in a wet
suit, like kind of like
clothes?
a velvet smoking jacket?
Okay.
Yeah.
Should probably just try to rummage through his pockets in the jacket and maybe in his pants if it's not too inconvenient.
Yeah, you can go ahead and roll with do the meddling move with do it with probably just reason, I guess. It's kind of a weird roll. I'm not going to make you roll disadvantage for Chill to the Bone yet because you haven't been in it that long, but
9.
You're rummaging around through the pockets and you actually do find something that it's mainly evidence that Sheriff Dalrymple's very bad at his job. You find inside his coat a waterlogged manila envelope.
Okay.
What do you do?
I stash it in my jacket to take somewhere else.
Very good. And as soon as you examine it, I'll tell you what you found, clue-wise. You hear a slam. Boom! The freezer door has been slammed closed. And the lights cut out. Let's cut over to Millie and Kate.
Perhaps
So,
we
Kate-
should have waited for morning.
Kate, you've got your earring. A very good clue. An earring missing its mate. What then?
So I'm kind of waiting to greet Sarah, and I'll start slowly going the way that the butler left.
You can go down to that second like little, that deck below the main deck. And a few things. You hear from one room on the left, you hear some weeping. Someone's crying. A little ways up the hall, there is a slightly ajar door. And then a little further up ahead, you hear a woman's voice saying, "Well, we really don't have time for that right now, do we, Andrew?" What do you do?
Move with alacrity to the door that is slightly ajar.
Indeed. It looks to be an office of some sort.
I will I'll go in and I'll slowly put the door back about where it was, and then get to meddling.
Sounds good. We'll come back to that. Millie, where'd we leave you? You rolled meddling move, right?
That's it. Right. Yeah. I
What'd you
got
get?
a
What was your
a
result?
9 on that.
Oh, a 9, yeah. He says, yes, as he's like, having his drink with you, him in the jacuzzi, you sitting in a chair, presumably outside the jacuzzi. And he says, it's very tragic. My father, dead. I've just been trying to keep my mind off it, thinking about work. I'm a gallerist. Do you know what a gallerist is?
Oh, of course, dear. I've been to a few in my time.
Well, so then surely you've been to one of mine in Boston. I have several.
Perhaps I've not been to Boston in a little while, actually. Come to think of it, but I'll have to check in sometime. I do a little
that's
daubing
right.
myself.
You small town people, so never really see much of the world, right? Very provincial.
Well, I lived most of my life in New York, dear, but
that's what makes you charming. Sweet little old backwoods, backwater woman. What were you saying?
I was just saying, yes, perhaps you do need a distraction from your poor father's death. It's awful. It's awful when to lose someone, but I think we have to make space for ourselves as well, of course, in that grief.
Right. Yes, it is very sad. I'm reminded, of course, of the great performance artist Gao Bai. Do you know Gao Bai? He was so committed to his work. He threw himself from the top of a 5-story building, the ultimate artistic expression, if you ask me. If only my father's death could have been so significant, but he lacked vision.
Well, I suppose in his own way, he did if what I have heard is true, and do forgive me if this sounds a little crass, but is it not being reported that he did indeed throw himself from this yacht, which I suppose in its own way represents the pinnacle of his achievements?
Pinnacle of his achievements. What if I told you that my father wasn't even supposed to be on this yacht? We were all vacationing without him. And then something caused him to rush here. What could it be? Who could say? But I think it's funny that he wasn't supposed to be here, and then suddenly he is here, and then next thing you know, he's dead.
Fate works in mysterious ways.
Fate, that's a good way of putting it. What if I told you that the night that my father fell overboard, you know what I mean? What if I told you that same night I overheard him having a really, really loud argument with my mother? I won't say what they were arguing about because I couldn't quite make it out, but they were very, very angry with each other. I'm not saying that that led to his death, but he did fall overboard shortly thereafter.
Well, that's
You'll keep that to yourself, of course.
oh, of course, I'm most discreet, I assure you. But that's very troubling for you, I'm sure.
We're having a little bit of a cocktail party, dinner thing, a little bit. Why don't you should be my guest.
I'd be delighted, dear. I'd be delighted.
Well, good. And he gets out and he's like, let's go find something to wear.
And I'll get him a towel.
And he's like, oh, good. It's like, normally Andrew does that for me. How nice. And he will, I'm giving you the condition. Something to do with David. We'll just say, in quotes, I like you.
Sure thing.
Question. Is there any inspiration drawn from Schitt's Creek?
Yes,
for
it's
this?
absolutely
Yeah.
David Rose. Yeah. Good. Let's take a 5-minute break. We'll come back and continue.
So I'm fine, right?
Nope.
We're in agreement that I'm no.
We'll find out in a minute. Rosemary. Lights in the freezer are out. Rosemary.
Huh?
The door has been slammed closed.
Yep.
And you hear something in the freezer with you. You hear dragging, like sort of like scratching, but like footsteps, like someone's dragging their back foot, like approaching you. What do you do?
I want to try to find the light, or I don't think I'd have one of my UV lights with me, but try to find a light. If I can't find a light, I want to find something of a medium weight that I can lift to swing.
Okay, let's just do the night move for now. What are you afraid is going to happen right now if you lose your nerve?
I'm afraid that I'm going to be attacked and locked in here, trapped in here with this thing.
I think it's worse than that. I think your body will join Albert's on the shelves in the ice. Roll with. I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say composure, and I'm gonna apply the condition as well. So roll disadvantage.
Okay. 9.
9. You find the light.
Okay.
And assuming you flip it on,
Yes, of course.
you see in the freezer, quite large freezer, a man pushing a cart filled with prawns.
Okay.
He says, "Oh, thank you. This place they need to fix this place a little bit. You know that door, we could have been in a lot of trouble. That door, it can't be opened from the inside. It's
Oh, no.
you ever seen that one episode of I Love Lucy where she gets locked in the freezer? Well, a
Yes.
thing like that happened here a few years ago, except it wasn't all zany madcap fun. That person froze to death and died. So
I'm quite chilly too. I wouldn't mind getting out of here. How do we I was looking for some where y'all kept your fish so that I could buy some, and I just got a little lost and turned
I was
around.
wondering what you were doing in here, actually. Yeah. And he's kind of sets his like cart of prawns, this old man. And he says, "Don't I know you? Aren't you that Rosemary Claremont?"
Oh, yep, that's me.
Oh, yeah, I've seen you. You've got that van and the
I do. Would you like some treats?
oh well, I couldn't just accept them for free. I'd want to pay you back.
I'll take a bag of prawns.
That seems like a fair trade. So, unfortunately, they're not my prawns to give.
Oh no.
How about this though? My shift is just about over, and maybe we could go warm up with a cup of coffee around the corner, huh?
That sounds lovely.
He's like, good. And that's the complication. He's just
He's gonna take me for
you
coffee.
got this guy that he's taking you to coffee now.
And the brownies are definitely laced.
Indeed. And then he bangs on the door to get somebody to come let you out. He's like, hopefully somebody can hear us. Boom, 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 boom.
Just stand there shivering.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I better go get that.
Well, let's cut to Opaloo. Opaloo, you got a miss. You don't even hear the report of the gun because your brains are splattered against the wall. And you fall to your knees and fall backwards into a puddle of your own bone and brain matter, and blood pools out from underneath you. And
I always was a bad liar.
a trail of smoke drifting in the air as the assassin turns to leave the fish market. Unless, of course, you want to put on a crown.
Yeah, I feel like that's a preferable option.
Fair enough. So you'll mark either the Crown of the Queen or the Crown of the Void. It's your choice. If you mark Crown of the Queen, you can choose any option. If you mark Crown of the Void, you must pick the first option. And you can do that thing now or later, whatever you choose.
Yeah, I think I'll do imperfect sister-daughter. Opal's always been conflict avoidant. Even when she was just like a kid, when she was in her prime and not really dealing with the issues of being chilly all the time and having to waddle places. She just didn't like that direct confrontation, and that's part of why she likes trying to help people now, even though it's kind of risky. Because like when she was younger, if she and her sister got into a fight, it would kind of just end with her agreeing with whatever her sister's version of events were, because she knew just rolling over and accepting whatever happened would just be less stressful. Like if she gets sent to her room, that's time alone. But it damaged her relationship with her sister for a long, long time.
Thank you. Instead of being shot in the head, the shadowy figure says, "Just know that you've been warned." And they turn and disappear into the shadows. I'm going to give you the condition unnerved, but you're otherwise safe. And almost as if it's like stage directions, tourists begin filling the fish market again, moving in. Fishmongers who were bending down, reaching for something, apparently get up and begin helping the customers and things. And everything is as it was. Etienne comes back and says, "Are you okay, Miss Lou? You look a little shaken. I hope it's not my blood."
Oh no, I've seen a little bit of blood in my time. I'm just, a natural disposition, especially when we've been dealing with talk of death and passing. It's, my own end probably isn't too far off. It's just a little bit of a sobering reminder when someone we know passes on so tragically as well.
Says that's a little bit morbid, Ms. Lou, especially for a Saturday night.
I've got a bit. I take a bit of a different view of it. I worked at the museum back in the day. It's a lot of passing, a lot of history there. It's sort of something you just sort of get used to as a normal conversation topic. It's about twice a day I'd walk into an exhibit on the history and evolution of humanity to find someone who was definitely having a little of a mental break at the scope of our existence. So it's normal.
He says, "Well, let me get that fish for you," and then grabs it, puts it in a plastic bag for you, and says, "You have a good night, Miss Lou."
You as well, and I appreciate you talking to me. If you have anything you want to discuss, since I know this must be a tumultuous time for you as well, you just let me know. I'll be around.
He's like, "Okay, thank you." Yeah.
Pats him on the shoulder and almost drops the fish because of it, and then waddles out.
Good. Let's cut over to Kate Sutton. Kate Sutton, you said you're just going to kind of fiddle around the office a little bit there. Do the meddling move with reason, assuming you're just kind of looking at papers and things.
She's in her mind, she hears the music from the TV show Project Improbable. Dun 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 dun.
Probable. I love it. What'd you get? Did you roll with reason?
On the Discord, they changed it from backslash to like a semicolon.
It's a semicolon now for the trophy die roller. Yeah, you can. Yeah.
When
Discord
did they do
added-
that? Anyways,
Discord-
I gotta.
Discord added slash commands, so in order to use a slash, you have to use their specific
Oh.
interactions. So Jesse had to.
I
change
just
it to
kept doing it.
semicolon.
Like that's got to. It was 6 with reason. A 6.
6. We'll come back to that. And Millie, you are now in. I think you are being led down below decks by David Krause, and you will go by the room where there's someone loudly sobbing, and you'll also pass by what appears to be like an art gallery. And David will say, those are some pieces I had brought in, just some things that were sitting around the gallery, and I thought, could use to bring some culture to this place. And you'll see a young woman in the art gallery, like on her phone, like bouncing a rubber ball that occasionally hits a painting.
Oh, may we have a little look around the art, if that's quite all right, dear? But it seems I hardly like to miss an opportunity to see your excellent taste on display.
By all means. And he says, my room is the third door down there on the left. And he leaves you to it. Inside the art gallery, there is a young woman. She is wearing a like a flannel shirt, and she looks really, really out of place, actually. And she's on her phone, and she's got this rubber ball, and she's just like bouncing it up against the wall and she catches it perfectly without even looking at it. She, boom, boom, catches it. Boom, boom. What do you do?
So, hello, dear. I hope I'm not. I hope I'm not intruding. I was just hoping to have a little look around the art.
She's like, could you just hold on 1 second? I gotta answer. Thank you. And send. Okay. Yeah. Sorry. What?
Oh, I was just saying. I hope I'm not bothering you. I'm just going to have a little look around the art here, if that's all right.
Oh, I didn't realize it was. It's kind of late to be dusting, isn't it? But take it away. And she.
Oh no, sorry. I'm David's dinner guest for the evening.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. How do you know my brother?
Oh, art, Boston.
You hear a little ding ding. She's like, I'm sorry. I have to answer this. I'm sorry. She goes
You
back to her
do that,
phone.
dear. And yeah, I'm gonna go back to just sort of like looking around the art. It's probably half appreciatively, but also just kind of getting a scoping the place out a bit.
Make the meddling move with reason.
Sure.
Also, this might be a good. I feel like we're kind of getting close to maybe a Gold Crown Mysteries move might be beneficial here. Something art related in a story of Amanda Delacourt's might.
Yeah, I think this does remind me of one of the Gold Crown Mysteries novels. I think.
Let's read the moves so everybody knows what's happening here.
Yeah, sure thing.
Once per session, although because of Millie's Maven move twice per session, when any Maven says, this reminds me of something that happened to Amanda Delacourt, work with the other players to describe how something that's happening in the situation reminds the Mavens of an event from one of the Gold Crown Mysteries. At a minimum, I need to know the name of the Gold Crown Mystery in question, the problem or situation Amanda found herself in that's similar to what you're in, and then how Amanda overcame the problem or basically resolved the situation, like what happened in the story. So everybody gets to contribute to that.
For the mystery name, something about gallows and gallery, but I'm not quite sure how to put the two of them together.
It's a good start, though.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I was yeah, the something like yeah, Amanda Delacourt in the case of the hanging art, I think, where there was sort of a some sort of murder in an art gallery, where someone was kind of suspended from a an installation.
And
Galleries
that
and gallows
person,
also.
Art Garfunkel.
But yeah,
Amanda Delacourt and the hanging art is pretty good.
I
Or the
like
galleries
that.
and gallows is pretty good as well. Maybe there's a second edition. Maybe they maybe they changed the name in the second edition. Nobody got the hanging art pun, and so they made it more obvious. What was the situation?
But yeah, I think the situation was that Amanda Delacourt discovered that there was some sort of illicit smuggling going on, using the artworks as ways of hiding whatever illicit goods were being smuggled. And I think that this gives Millie the idea to kind of look behind some of the paintings, like look for kind of hidden compartments in some of the sculptures and that sort of thing, to find a clue.
Oh, I like it. That's pretty good. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's really good. So per the move, you can take a 12 plus on a relevant move or declare something true about the situation. You can take either, whatever you wish here.
Yeah, I think I'll go for a 12 plus on a meddling move for that one.
Sounds good. So you'll get a clue and a void clue. We'll come back to that in a bit. I want to check back in with Kate. Kate, what did you end up getting on your die? Were you going to miss, right?
6.
Yeah. Yeah. Someone bursts into the office. It is a woman, an older woman, middle-aged, not as old as you all, but older than Sarah and Emily and David. She's very thin, very graceful, very well-dressed, all in something very black and white and avant-garde. And she bursts into the office and she's like, "Oh, I didn't realize it was time to be doing the cleaning already."
I'm going to go with it. Well, I was supposed to start here and work, I think, counterclockwise. I can't remember if it's clockwise or counterclockwise.
And she looks at you and she's like, "Who can say, really, in this life?" And she's going and she's kind of like going through some drawers and papers, like, she's kind of looking around for some things, and she looks up at you and she's like kind of expectantly like,
I'm here for the trash. I'm going to take the trash.
yeah. She's like, "Oh, wait." And then she kind of takes the trash can. She's like rummaging through the trash. She's clearly looking for something. What do you do?
I'm going to look around. I'm going to offer to help and say, well, let me see what are we looking for? Maybe I can help you find it. I've not thrown out any trash. So I think you're safe.
She's like, "Yes, I suppose I am. Well," and she says, "Well, of course, you heard about Mr. Krause, yes?
Oh,
Dead."
Yeah. Yep.
She's like, "It's just like Albert to go and get himself killed when I'm on the precipice of charity fundraiser greatness. The man could be so self-involved."
Man.
She's like, "You look familiar."
Oh yeah, I'm Lily's mom. I'm here to see Sarah, and I thought I brought a casserole, and I thought cleaning up the place would, help you guys grieve.
"You're Kate Sutton. You're
Bingo.
Also in the philanthropical scene, aren't you?"
I wouldn't call it that. It's more of me being charitable to some local groups with my time.
Well, I try to keep abreast of all charity fundraising activities on the Eastern Seaboard, keep an eye on the competition. And you're known to me.
Well, my daughter really loved Sarah back when they were in college.
She's like, Sarah?
Krause.
Oh, Sarah, right. Yes. Well, so you're here to see Sarah?
Yes, Andrew told me to wait.
Oh, it's all making sense now. Andrew said that there was someone here to see Sarah. That must have been you. Why are you taking out our trash?
I was here to help any way I can.
It's very kind indeed. And she takes a drink and sets it down. It's very funny, don't you think? You showing up here on the day my husband turns up dead.
Oh, well, that's why we're here. That's why me and my friend brought a casserole.
And she's like, wouldn't it be funny if something happened to me while you and I are here in this room?
Like funny haha or funny strange?
Well, the mind wanders. I mean, you just show up quite suddenly and none of us really know who you are. And then, let's say I just turned up dead. You'd be a pretty significant suspect, don't you think? She takes another drink.
Oh, I'd be top of the list, I'm sure.
She sets the drink down. She's like, but no more morbid thinking. You know, it's funny. And then she says, I saw something the night Albert fell overboard. It was something that chilled me to my core. It was we cut away. Opal, what do you do once you're done at the fish market?
I'm gonna try and meet back up with Rosemary first of all. Am I able to do that?
Yeah, you'll probably see Rosemary and her new beau going around the front.
Rosemary, dear.
His name is Hank, by the way.
Hi, Opal. You don't look particularly good. You look like you've seen a ghost.
Well, no, not exactly a go. May I speak with you in private for a moment, my dear?
Oh yes, Hank. You go on to the coffee shop, and I'll meet you there in just a few minutes.
He's like, okay, but don't keep me waiting. And he goes off. He leaves you to it.
Good news. It is a murder. I know that much.
Perfect. I don't know what the police were doing here, but I found this. Sorry.
Wait, what is it that you found again exactly?
Yeah, I found this manila envelope in Albert's jacket.
Oh, what's in it?
I don't know yet.
If you open it up, They're waterlogged, but you can definitely tell it is a stack of receipts for some very extravagant purchases, mostly artwork.
Well, there was a shadowy figure who used a voice modulator and pointed a gun at me.
At you?
At
Why
me.
would anybody point a gun at you?
I don't know. I think, okay, I think that they thought that I was investigating when I was just trying to have a polite conversation. I mean, I was investigating, but I was also trying to have a polite conversation. And they said to stop investigating or I'd be murdered, which seems like a bit of a...
You poor dear.
Uh,
Perhaps we should go inside and get warmed back up.
Yes, I also bought a big fish. Are you in need of a large fish?
I'm sure that we can make use of it. I do have an excellent recipe for a delicious fish pie.
Yes, that'll probably do it. Once we get inside, I'm going to put on another cardigan.
I'm going to cut over to Millie. So Millie, the young woman who is Emily Krause, she will pay you no mind as you take paintings off the walls and look behind them. And you see something that it appears someone was trying to hide. It is a piece of paper that's been slipped between the picture frame and the paper backing. If you take a look at the piece of paper, it is a letter addressed to Albert from his attorney, and it says, "I made the adjustment to the will that you requested. They won't be getting one red penny." Never says who, but this is your clue.
Excellent. I think Millie will put that, slip that into her handbag, and say, thank you, dear, to Emily. Do take care, and sorry to hear about your father. As she walks, out, and we'll head to see head to David's room.
As you're walking to David's room, because I owe you a void clue as well, you've been kind of hearing it the whole time, but it's really pronounced now. A sound coming from deep within the boat, from the engine room, perhaps. This loud, mechanical, droning sound. But as you approach David's room, you realize that it's not a mechanical droning sound at all. It's the sound of voices, perhaps a dozen voices or more. Chanting. Coming from the belly of the boat. How does it make you feel?
Yeah, I think there is definitely that moment of like doing a double take as she sort of realizes it, and it's sort of, I think it's it's a shock, I think, and it kind of it startles Millie, I think, for a moment. I think there's something about the actual chanting itself that she finds almost like soothing kind of thing, but the strangeness of the location and the something about it is yeah, definitely
The
yeah, it's
circumstances are
definitely
clearly
upsetting.
strange.
Exactly, yeah.
Take the unnerved condition, but you're
Sure.
otherwise able to press forward to David's room.
Cool.
Kate, Allison Krause, the matriarch of the family, is grasping her throat. She drops her glass and it shatters. I'm going to give you a commercial break. Commercial break. I'm going to give you a prompt. And when we get back to you, Daniel, if you narrate the prompt and narrate a commercial inspired by the prompt, you will get a 10+ instead on the roll that you just did. Your prompt is Happy Jacks, Lumberjack, Lumber Liquidators, Furniture Sale. Think on it for a moment. We're getting near the end of the session time, so let's just do 1 or 2 more scenes. Opal and Rosemary, you have found a pretty good clue, a couple of good clues. And you are... Where were you heading after that?
I think we were just getting some coffee to warm up.
Right.
At a different coffee shop.
You're not going where Hank is.
No, different one.
Poor Hank.
And then probably once we get coffee, we'll call our fellow Mavens.
Indeed. Millie, you'll get the call just before you cross the threshold into David's room.
Yeah, I think Millie will kind of knock on the door but open it regardless.
And but you're getting, I think you're getting a cell phone call from Opal. And
Oh,
Rosemary at
sorry.
that point. Yeah,
No,
that's
sorry.
okay.
So I think as she's about to knock on the door, she'll answer the phone and say, hello.
Hello, dear. Is everything going all right there?
Oh, not too bad, thank you. I think there's something that's a little strange going on here, but I'm about to call on one of the Krause children here.
We should probably meet up together soon. I think we've gathered some interesting points that could be used to figure this whole thing out.
Oh, do you want to meet us out by the out on the yacht? I can send that dishy young deputy back to get you.
Sure. That seems appropriate.
I like that. Kind of getting Deputy Anderson to go pick them up. I think that feels like a good move. In fact, we can probably just fast forward to the little dinner party thing with everybody there after we cut to commercial. We cut to commercial. These are commercials that would be airing while Brindlewood Bay airs on TV. Are you ready, Daniel?
I'm ready. Hey, Happy Jack Lumberjack Liquidator Sale. We've got, we're known for our low prices and our all wood furniture. We've got bunk beds, solid wood. We've got kitchenette, dinette sets, solid oak. Remember, at Happy Jack's Lumberjack Sales, all of our products are solid oak and simulated mahogany. Come on down for everyday sales where the prices are right. Hey, Happy Jack.
I love it. We come back from commercial and Allison Krause is like, Oh, sorry. I had a bit of prawn get stuck in my throat. Can you imagine?
You just
Um,
scared me to death.
And she says, oh, where were we?
You were just
And
saying, wouldn't it be funny if you died? And I said, funny, strange, or funny, haha. And then I almost thought we lost you, Allison.
oh, could you even imagine if I had died? And she says, well, I hope we'll see you at a little cocktail party we're having in a few minutes.
Everything, what I've learned is every kind of party goes great with a chicken, broccoli, and rice casserole, soy cheese.
She's like, sounds delicious. And she leaves you to it. But I do owe you a 10 on your previous roll, which is what sparked all of that, which is you were poking around the office. And you actually find in the office a letter. It is a paternity test. It's the results of a paternity test. And apparently, Emily Krause, the youngest of the Krause children, was not Albert's daughter. That is your clue. You do have 6 clues now. You could theorize if you want to do that in the last few minutes here. It'd be a flat roll, but not impossible.
Do our cocktail party accusation scene.
You could do that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, 100%. We could take a little short break so you can think about your theory if you want, or we can save it. It's up to you.
Maybe we just leave it on a cliffhanger and do it at the start of next session. I'd be down to do it now, though.
Yeah, I'm certainly good to press on.
Let's just take like a 3-minute break. We grab some water. Everyone take a look at the clues you have, and let's add that last clue in, which was Emily is not Albert's daughter. And come up with a theory. We'll come back and discuss it. Well, who has a theory about what happened here?
I have a theory.
Go ahead. What is it?
I think Allison did it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think Allison kicked Albert off the boat back when they were. Oh, did you have something?
No, I'm just
Okay. I have a theory that Allison kicked Albert off the boat and then didn't allow him to come on the family vacation because he was being nasty about everything, and he came he came anyway, figured out where they went, and showed up, and he's cutting Emily out of the will because she's not one of his children, and he's just real nasty about it. That was the argument they got in, was that he wasn't supposed to be there at all. She was like, you were just being mean to me, and he was like, yes, but you told me that Emily was my daughter for years, blah blah blah. The diamond earring, I think, is ripped off during their struggle when she pushes him over the boat. And then, I mean, the long-standing affair is the whole, because she's here to, because Etienne makes her happy, and this is where she wants to be. The only thing I don't have is why he was making. Maybe she was expecting him to cut Emily out of the will, and so she was like buying up a bunch of artwork so that she could hide it away and make sure that Emily got her inheritance, even if she. That's the only thing that I got there.
That's exactly what I was thinking too. Yeah,
I have a slight variation on that, because I believe it was said something like, "Didn't Albert bring the boat down here?" like he redirected them
Albert-
down to here?
No, he like showed up
Yeah.
in
Oh,
the
he
middle of their
showed up.
vacation. Yeah. Presumably helicoptered in or something.
Helicoptered in.
Landed on the infinity pool.
Yeah.
Landed on the infinite. My variation on that, it's still Allison murdered Albert.
Mhm.
But in my version, Allison is the one who was cut out of the will.
Oh, interesting.
And she yeah, because it seems like I don't these people seem like assholes, so I wouldn't disbelieve that Emily getting cut out of the will, but I feel like the vindictiveness
Would be towards Allison.
yeah.
would be towards Allison more so than Emily, and she bought up the art to sort of like have his assets
A
under
backup.
her
Yeah.
own name.
That actually
And
makes a good amount
he
of
was
sense.
just confronting her with it.
And I actually think that the reason the boat is here is because she was bringing the assets to hand off to
Etienne.
Etienne to basically squirrel those away.
So are we saying that like Kate saw that
Yeah.
Allison is missing an earring or something, or maybe that's what she was looking for in the office was the earring, like possibly. Yeah.
Because they started, hang on, let me quickly look at the spreadsheet. So the affair happened and from it was born Emily.
Right.
And at some point it was discovered or via the Albert got suspicious, ordered the paternity test, and confirmed that. Upon receiving that, he flew down to here, but having already caught on to suspicions, Allison had bought up this artwork and took a family vacation, quote unquote, to get that artwork to deliver to Etienne to sort of hide those assets. However, when Albert arrived, they got into a shouting match inside on the boat, which probably carried on as Albert got a bit drunker and angrier and a little more reckless, and then they sort of had a scuffle on the boat's edge in which one of the earrings was pulled out and he toppled in.
It's a terrific theory. Daniel or David, do you have anything to add?
No, that's very much what excuse me. So that's very much what I was thinking. I guess maybe it's possible that both Allison and Emily were to be removed from the will, but it makes little odds.
I think it probably I think it probably makes sense it was Allison, right?
Even to explain the pronoun, Etienne could have been partially in the will as an old family friend and also be getting cut out. Because they liked him enough to set him up as
That's true. Yeah, they have a
personal
history.
fish market.
Yeah.
So it seems like that wouldn't be out of the question.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic. Well, if there's nothing else to add, I think it's a great theory. I just need a flat dice roll. Whoever wants to roll the dice.
I already got shot and killed once because of my roll, so I'll let someone else take it.
I'll roll it.
Go for it, Rosemary.
Got a 6.
A 6. You are at the cocktail party. You make your accusation. You explain it to everyone, like this is what happened, and all this happens, and everything is all fine, and everyone's listening. Deputy Anderson is there taking notes feverishly. And Allison, in the middle of all that, unless using the new rule of the game, lifted from the between, unless you all want to mark a crown and bump up your result to a 7 to 9.
Oh, all of us got a mark?
Yeah,
crown?
All of you have to do it.
mark a crown.
Or we can let this be a wrinkle in the story that we pick up next week. It's up to you.
I'd spin a crown.
Yeah, I'll spend a crown.
Sure. Yeah, I'm good with that.
Okay.
right.
Everybody mark a crown, either Void or Queen. Void, you have to mark the first one. Queen, you can mark any you wish. And we're at
well-
time. Is everybody okay going like another 10 minutes or so? Is that good, everybody?
Yeah.
Okay. Instead, Allison says, isn't this normally the part of the mystery where you say, ladies and gentlemen, whoever's got the gun must have done the murder. Well, guess who's got the gun? And she pulls out a gun from her bag. And she says,
Honestly, I thought Etienne had the gun.
she's got the gun and she's waving it back and forth. And she says, yes, I killed Albert. I hated that man so much. And then he had the nerve to cut me off. Well, when push came to shove, so to speak, I got the last laugh. And she says, now what I recommend is we all just go back to wherever we came from and we forget all about this. A terrible man met a suitable end, if you ask me. And she shoves the gun in your face, Millie. What do you think?
Hey, Millie.
Deputy
this
Anderson
is
has
a-
his hands up.
Yeah, this is me talking out of character. But hey, Millie, your biscuits wouldn't happen to have any dairy-related ingredients in them, would they?
I was oh no, I think I know what I'm actually going to mark the recording of my pilot for Amanda Delacourt thing, and I think we get that kind of flashback to a scene very much like this at the climax of the of that show, and yeah, I think as she as the gun is pointed at her face, she'll say, and I also believe this is usually the point where I have to point out that the safety catch is not off the gun, and as she looks down is going to try and grab it and disarm her.
I like it. Is this a well, so I mean, I think this would probably be the night move, but were you trying to invoke gold chemistries or something? Or
no, I'm just going to use an item from my cozy little place
got it,
for
got it.
advantage.
Yeah, from Flinton's, or no, was it Flint and Steel? What was
No,
the
it was the
oh, the man over
for
pilot.
the-
Yeah,
yeah,
right. That's right.
exactly. Yeah.
I love it. You can mark that to get advantage on the roll. What are you afraid is going to happen if you fail right now?
I'm definitely getting shot here.
I think it's
yeah.
worse than that. She's going to shoot you and she's going to get away with this. Like she's going to escape. Go ahead and roll with vitality.
That's an 11.
Very nice. Please describe how you subdue Allison Krause.
Yeah. So I think yeah, it goes kind of down sort of how I explained. As she looks down, I kind of grab the gun, trying and pull the gun away from her. I think there's a bit of a scuffle. And then I think Millie is going to reach the table, pick up the casserole dish, and knock Allison unconscious with it.
Opal standing there with the fish in case she wakes up.
I love it. I love it. Anything you want to add, Kate or Rosemary?
I'm going to tell the deputy, I'm going to say, Sheriff, thanks for disarming this entire situation. I'm glad you were here to help us.
He's like, yeah, just another, just happy to do my job, ma'am. He says, also, I'm not the sheriff. He's like, I guess I should call the sheriff, though.
I
Anything
think
to add,
Rosemary's-
Rosemary?
No, I think Rosemary's good.
Very
Maybe
good.
she-
Yeah,
Krause.
tell him we found the evidence he was looking for.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah, evidence found. Very good. That'll conclude our mystery. Let's do our end of session questions. So the first question is, did the Murder Mavens solve a mystery? Everybody has that question, and the answer is yes. So everybody gets to mark an experience point for that. Let's go character by character now. Rosemary, did you behave like a woman half your age?
Only in my sneakiness. But I don't know if I would take
Be a
that.
bit of a stretch. What about,
Yeah.
did you dote on someone?
Not today. I didn't know we were selecting those. Are those automatically selected?
Oh no, you can pick. Oh, if you want, you can pick two that match more what you did, if you
Okay.
prefer, since it's the first session.
Yeah, I don't think I really did any of the ones.
I mean, maybe like you could pick the did you undermine the authority of a local official? That's
Okay,
usually,
I'll take.
because you definitely did that.
Okay, I'll take that one.
You can take it next week for that. Amelia, yes, you did secretly undermine the authority of a local official. Did you share your wisdom with a young person?
I tried to a bit in that conversation with David. I don't know how much of it sank in, but
I'm into it. No, you can take it. I like it. Kate, did you behave like a woman half your age? Yes, you did. Well, actually, what do you think?
I was going to use the did you dote on somebody with the deputy trying to build up his
I
his
thought
team.
that's what you were doing for sure.
Yeah,
I definitely picked
yeah.
up on that. Yeah.
I I don't, besides breaking and entering, I don't know. I think it's a stretch.
Okay, so you got the 2 XP, and then let's go over to Opal. Opal, did you share your wisdom with a young person?
I tried to share a perspective on life, but
Oh,
I
with
think it
Etienne,
might've
yeah, I'll
just-
take it. Yeah, it was a good scene. It was very weird.
Opal has prophetic dreams of death.
I think
She's
Etienne was like,
not-
great.
I wouldn't describe her as normal.
I like it. Did you secretly undermine the authority of a local official? Yes, you all did that. Okay, good. So that's XP delivered, and let's do our stars and wishes. Stars and wishes is a debrief technique that I like to do. Stars are things that you enjoyed about the session, either something about the mystery or the characters, or something a fellow player did, something I did. Wishes are things that you hope to see next week in the story or in the game.
I'm going to give a star for Opal. I loved Opal's reaction to anything creepy or horrible, where it was kind of like a pigeon cooing sound that you did. I could totally picture that.
Thank you.
And then star for Jason's David, that guy. That's my 2 stars. My wish would be creepy stuff,
Sorry.
more creepy stuff.
I had a star for Allison. I just hated her so much. And then star for Opal was just being chilly. I felt I had to put on my blanket because I started to get chilly. And then just all the scenes on the boat were just really good. The interactions with the 2 Krause children, no, 1 Krause with David and then with Allison were just great. Wishes, I don't know. I'm just looking forward to more of this. It was really fun.
Star for me, I really enjoyed. There was a lot of little witty banter between Millie and some of the side characters or the suspects. I really appreciated that. I liked the void I like giving out the void clues. I thought that was really the timings of both of the void clues, one at the beginning, then one kind of toward the end, was really great. I enjoyed I think everyone did a really good job with their characterizations and kind of pushing into the danger. I thought that was really, really good. I thought the fish market scene was really great because it was like they were both facing danger and sort of dealing with it in their own particular ways, which I thought was really fun to see. And yeah, I enjoyed the scene between Allison and Kate. It's just pretty amusing, as they sort of like are like figuring each other out, but also like, Allison just in her sort of blithe way, just being like, why are you taking out the trash? I just kind of loved all that. It was a great scene. Wish, I'll be excited to do the cozy move next time, which is always kind of a session 2 thing, just to see you all kind of being at home in your element. I think that'll be fun. And yeah, so that's what I got.
Yeah, I think a big star for me was when Etienne dropped the act, because like that was sort of a whoa, wait a second. It's like, oh yeah, no, definitely was hamming it the hell up, but just going from French man of the sea to just a dude caught me off guard. And another star for just the way Millie is, just the sort of like former actress bravado, really spoke to me a lot. A wish is, I don't think Allison pointed the gun at me, because she was on the boat at that time, talking to Kate, I believe. So I want to, a wish is to find out who shot me in the head.
In a different timeline, yeah.
In a different timeline.
Indeed. Or just who was there threatening you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. Good stuff. Any other stars or wishes?
Yeah, no, definitely stars all around for me. It was a really, really good fun session. It was really nice to both do that. I really liked just the little personality we learned of the characters just in that intro, and I always enjoyed doing the cozy little place stuff as well at the beginning. It's always really good fun. So there's some really nice ideas that came out in that. It was then really nice to see those kind of characters come to life. I felt like all the choices that people made felt very on point for their character sort of thing. I liked seeing everyone approach it in their own way was awesome. It was great fun. Yeah, interacting with all the NPCs, obviously, Jason, as ever. That was a whole lot of fun. Wishes, I agree. I'm looking forward to doing some cozy scenes next time. Just looking forward to our next investigation.
Yeah, and also next time, a wish. Everybody owes me a crown, so we have crowns things to do. So be thinking about your character. That's your homework for next week, is to go through your crowns and read them and start getting a better sense of your character, and what their past is, and sort of or what they're all about. But we'll do those pretty early on when we start next time. If there are no other stars or wishes, I'm going to leave you with a little stinger scene. Little end of credits scene where we see Hank sitting at the coffee shop. Two cups of coffee sitting on the table. One of them finished, one of them completely full and cold. And the barista says, "Sir, I don't think your friend is coming." And Hank says, "I think you're right." And he gets up and leaves the coffee shop, and they lock the door behind him. And it starts to rain. And Hank wanders back to his apartment in the rain, having been rejected again. I'll see you all next week.